The dark truth about seed oils. For decades, we were told these oils were heart-healthy. Doctors recommended them. Food companies flooded supermarkets with them. Entire generations started cooking with them every single day. But behind the marketing, something disturbing happened. Rates of obesity, inflammation, metabolic disease, brain fog, and hormonal dysfunction exploded at the exact same time industrial seed oils quietly took over the global food supply. And now, some longevity researchers and biohackers believe these oils may be doing something far worse than making people overweight. They believe seed oils may be accelerating biological aging itself, not overnight, not dramatically, but slowly, cell by cell, year after year. Tonight, we uncover how one of the most profitable ingredients in modern food became one of the most controversial substances in human nutrition, and why some scientists believe the damage may already be inside you. The first warning sign wasn't obvious. It didn't look like a crisis. There were no emergency broadcasts, no government investigations, no public panic. Instead, it arrived quietly, hidden inside salad dressings, protein bars, baby formula, restaurant fryers, and the healthy snacks lining grocery store shelves. Soybean oil, canola oil, sunflower oil, corn oil. Industrial seed oils became so common that most people stopped noticing them entirely. But a growing group of scientists, metabolic researchers, and biohackers believe that may have been the biggest mistake modern nutrition ever made. Because while the world blamed sugar for the obesity epidemic, another ingredient was spreading through nearly every processed food on Earth. And according to some researchers, it may be damaging the body at the cellular level. The story begins more than a century ago. In the early 1900s, companies discovered they could extract oil from cheap agricultural waste products like cottonseed. Originally, cottonseed oil wasn't considered edible for humans. In fact, some of it was used in industrial products like soap and machine lubricants. But then came a breakthrough. Using chemical processing techniques involving high heat, bleaching, and deodorization, manufacturers transformed these unstable oils into products that looked clean, tasted neutral, and lasted far longer on shelves than traditional fats like butter or tallow. For the food industry, it was a gold mine, cheap to produce, easy to mass manufacture, and incredibly profitable. Then came one of the most influential nutrition shifts in modern history. In the 1950s and 60s, heart disease rates were climbing rapidly in the United States. Researchers began searching for a culprit. One theory, promoted heavily by physiologist Ancel Keys, suggested saturated fat and cholesterol were responsible. Vegetable oils, rich in polyunsaturated fats, were marketed as the healthier alternative. Soon, governments, food corporations, and health organizations all pushed the same message: replace traditional animal fats with vegetable oils. And the public listened. Butter disappeared from kitchens. Fast food chains switched frying oils. Processed foods exploded across supermarkets. But there was one problem. The long-term biological effects of consuming massive quantities of industrial seed oils had never truly been tested on human populations before, not at this scale. Today, the average person consumes dramatically more linoleic acid, the primary omega-6 fat found in seed oils, than humans did for most of history. And that matters because your body treats these fats differently than stable traditional fats. Here's where the controversy begins. Some researchers argue that excessive omega-6 intake creates a dangerous imbalance inside the body. While omega-6 fats are essential in small amounts, modern diets often contain ratios wildly disproportionate to omega-3 intake. That imbalance may contribute to chronic inflammation, a condition increasingly linked to heart disease, diabetes, cognitive decline, autoimmune disorders, and accelerated aging. But inflammation is only part of the story. The deeper concern involves oxidation. Seed oils are chemically unstable, especially when exposed to heat, light, and oxygen. During high-temperature cooking, especially deep frying, these oils can break down into compounds called aldehydes and oxidized lipid byproducts. Some studies suggest these compounds may damage cells, proteins, DNA, and mitochondria, the microscopic energy systems that keep your body alive. And mitochondria are now considered one of the central keys to longevity science. When mitochondrial function declines, the body ages faster, energy drops, recovery slows, brain performance weakens, inflammation rises. In other words, the very systems biohackers are trying to optimize may be under constant attack from the modern food environment. This is why figures in the longevity and biohacking world, including people inspired by protocols from Brian Johnson and other anti-aging researchers, have become obsessed with eliminating ultra-processed oils from their diets. Not because seed oils are a magical poison, but because they believe long-term cumulative exposure may silently amplify aging pathways over decades. And the disturbing part? Most people consume these oils every single day without realizing it. Restaurant food, packaged snacks, protein shakes, coffee creamers, even foods marketed as healthy. Some estimates suggest soybean oil alone became one of the largest calorie sources in the modern American diet over the past century. Meanwhile, metabolic disease rates continued climbing. Now, to be fair, not all scientists agree on the severity of the issue. Many nutrition researchers argue the evidence against seed oils is exaggerated online. Large observational studies have sometimes linked replacing saturated fat with polyunsaturated fats to improved cardiovascular markers. And this is where the debate becomes complicated, because the real issue may not be seed oils alone. It may be the entire industrialized food system they became part of. Highly processed foods, excess calories, sugar overload, sedentary lifestyles, constant eating, poor sleep, chronic stress. Seed oils may not be the sole villain, but according to a growing movement in longevity science, they may be one of the hidden accelerants. And what happened next made the controversy even darker. By the early 2000s, something strange started happening. A small group of independent researchers, performance coaches, and underground biohackers began comparing modern health trends with historical dietary data. And the deeper they looked, the more one pattern kept appearing. As seed oil consumption skyrocketed, metabolic health collapsed, not just obesity, but infertility, fatty liver disease, depression, autoimmune disorders, cognitive decline. The human body suddenly seemed older, inflamed, exhausted. And according to some scientists, the real danger wasn't visible on a bathroom scale. It was happening inside the cells. Researchers studying oxidative stress discovered that excess linoleic acid can become incorporated into cell membranes, making them more vulnerable to oxidation damage over time. Some experts believe this process may contribute to mitochondrial dysfunction, one of the central hallmarks of aging. In simple terms, your body may slowly become less efficient at producing energy. And when energy production breaks down, everything else begins to follow. Recovery weakens, hormones shift, brain performance declines, inflammation becomes chronic. This is why many modern longevity protocols focus less on calories and more on cellular stability. People in the biohacking world began replacing industrial oils with more stable fats like olive oil, avocado oil, grass-fed butter, and traditional animal fats. Not because these foods are magical, but because they may produce fewer harmful oxidation byproducts during cooking. At the same time, AI-driven health platforms started identifying patterns humans struggled to detect. Machine learning systems analyzing blood glucose, inflammatory markers, sleep quality, heart rate variability, and nutrient responses began revealing something important. Different bodies react differently to the same foods. For one person, a processed diet might cause minor damage. For another, it may trigger severe metabolic dysfunction. This changed the conversation completely. The future of nutrition may no longer be about universal food pyramids. It may become hyper-personalized biology powered by artificial intelligence, and that creates a disturbing possibility. What if modern processed foods were never designed for human optimization in the first place? What if they were designed for shelf life, addiction, and profit? Because the darker truth about seed oils may not be that they're toxic in small amounts. The darker truth may be that modern humans were turned into a long-term nutritional experiment without ever realizing it. An experiment driven by convenience, mass production, and billion-dollar industries. Now, does that mean every seed oil is poison? No, science is still evolving. The debate is still active, and many mainstream researchers argue moderation matters more than fear. But one fact is becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. The human body evolved for natural environments, not industrial chemistry labs. And as longevity science advances, one idea keeps resurfacing again and again. Aging may not be a fixed destiny. It may be a biological process influenced by thousands of invisible daily decisions, including what's on your plate. The question is, if the foods marketed as healthy for decades were never truly optimized for long-term human survival, what else have we been taught to consume without questioning? And more importantly, who benefits when people stay sick, tired, inflamed, and biologically older than they should be? If this video changed the way you look at food, drop your thoughts in the comments. What's one ingredient you've completely stopped trusting? And if you want more dark science-backed stories exposing the hidden systems shaping human health and longevity, hit subscribe because the next discovery might already be inside your body.